Greetings, my fellow beings. So today, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on in the world right now, and it is a little bit scary. And the fact of the matter is that a lot of people at this time are feeling grief while being stuck indoors when there's nothing you can do about it. And so that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about today. At this time, there's a certain uncertainty to what's going to happen and how we're going to deal with this situation at this moment. Let me tell you that it's not easy being stuck in your house all the time, being terrified to leave your house and running out of things to keep yourself occupied. I've been doing this for about 4 years now, and so I wanted to share a little bit of my experiences to try and help people along the way. So let me tell you, everything that you're feeling right now is normal. Anxiety, anticipation, the boredom, it all leads to a sense of grief. A grief of not knowing how to deal with the future, a grief that you can't do anything that you used to, and the desire to return to what you love. All of these things are normal, and it is a sense of grief. So like I said earlier, I have been in this state for about 4 years now. And I can't say that this sense of grief has ever actually ended for me. But I have been able to find a sense of normalcy in this existence. So I'm here to help you in the best way that I know how, and that is to make a video, because I can do that in my home, on my chair, and I'm able to speak to you in this way. And the first thing I want to tell you is that everything is going to be okay. Things seem kind of crazy right now. They seem like the end of the world is on the horizon, but I promise you that everything is going to be okay. Your world may feel like it's falling apart around your head, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Feeling lonely, sad, or frightened is normal when you're grieving, and that grief is for normalcy. It's okay to show your emotions, as it will not only help you, but those around you to know that it's okay, and that it's okay for them to do the same. I see on the media all the time on how well everybody is doing, and I'm smart enough to know that no, not everyone is doing okay in this situation. And you're going to feel like that person is doing just fine. Look, they're cleaning their house and they're making everything perfect, and they have all these crafts they're doing, or they're fixing their house. But you know, that's the minority. Not everybody is as on top of things as everybody else. I can tell you that comparatively, I don't do much during the day. I wake up, I shuffle out to my chair, I may crochet a bit, I watch TV. But that's my normal now. And you know, if your day starts off with you waking up, shuffling out to your chair, maybe doing a little bit of work, and then taking a nap, that is perfectly okay. And right now, there are people out there feeling like they're losing their minds. And that is normal. Helpguide.org says in its section on how to deal with the grieving process. I'm just going to read that now. While grieving a loss is an inevitable part of life, there are ways to help cope with the pain, come to terms with your grief, and eventually find a way to pick up the pieces and move on with your life. So there are 6 ways that they talk about. The first way is to acknowledge your pain, to understand that you have pain. The second one is to accept that grief can trigger many different and unexpected emotions. Third is to understand that your grieving process will be unique to you. Fourth, seek out face-to-face support from people who care about you. More on that in just a bit. Number 5 is to support yourself emotionally by taking care of yourself physically. And number 6 is to recognize the difference between grief and depression. It's hard to give up on the life that you've known and to coop yourself up in your house and to feel like it will never end. And in all honesty, I don't know when this will end. And to keep ourselves from spiraling out of control, it is important to know what we are going through and how to work through it. So for number 1, you need to realize that you are going through some form of pain. You're alone, you're cooped up, you're bored, maybe you've lost your job, or if you don't go back to work soon, the money could run out. It doesn't matter the exact reason, but we're all feeling some form of anxiety in the current situation. So for number one, you need to acknowledge that you are having some form of grief right now. So number two, knowing that you're going through pain, you need to understand that you're going to find that this can cause you to go through a myriad of different emotions in a myriad of different ways. Maybe you get angry, or you cry a lot. Maybe you laugh a lot. But emotions are a part of all of this, and some of them may be unexpected to you. Number three, everyone is going to handle the situation differently. Just because you feel lighthearted doesn't mean that the person next to you is going to feel the same way. They may be angry and yelling. You may be laughing. No one is the same, and no one is going to go through this the exact same way. So don't expect everyone to react the same way to this situation. All right, so face-to-face interactions aren't exactly easy unless you already live in the same house together. So the whole have face-to-face interactions doesn't really work. But I do suggest calling your loved ones. FaceTime and Skype are fantastic tools that we can use to lessen the isolation and enjoy seeing each other. This is different than the online calls and the conferences that you have for work. I'm talking about leisurely conversations with your friends. Also, find a way to entertain each other. Play a board game. I know that you can put out a board game if you both have the same board game. Put on FaceTime, put on Skype. I don't care. Put out your board game and move each other's pieces. That is a great way to entertain each other. I have a friend that plays the piano with her grandkids, and that is fantastic. Online multiplayer games are also a fun way to spend time with one another. Even if it can get really heated, it still can be enjoyable, and especially if you need to let off some steam. So that can also be another fun way that you can interact with each other. But I do suggest that you do spend time with one another in some way to lessen this isolation. So support yourself by taking care of yourself physically. For me, this is a hard one, but if you can exercise, make sure that you do. I'm not saying go out and run a marathon, but you'd be surprised how many activities you can do while sitting down. When I first got sick, I looked up so many seated exercises so that I wouldn't fall over. I have now learned that I can't do any of them, but if you can, I really do suggest looking up some form of workout. And if you're completely against full-on workouts, there are so many activities that are on YouTube that you can find where you can sit on your couch and do them. Just make sure that you're keeping your blood flowing and that you're taking care of yourself. Being cooped up in a house and doing activities where you're seated most of the time isn't exactly healthy. I can speak from experience. Lastly, there is a difference between grief and all-out depression, and it is important to know the difference between the two. So on hrrv.org, it says that grief can be defined as a natural response to any loss, including physical, cognitive, emotional, behavioral, and spiritual responses. Grief is unique to each individual, but can include any combination of the following. And it says change of appetite, sleep disturbances, fatigue, exhaustion, tearfulness, difficulty concentrating, avoidance of people and situations, suicidal thoughts or actions, anger, sadness, loneliness, feelings of hopelessness, neglect of hygiene, loss of interest in work or activities, anger at self, deceased person, or God. So those are things that can go along with grief. And those can look very similar to those of depression. So they go on to say that depression is a clinical condition that can become deadly if left untreated. To be diagnosed with depression from a medical professional, a person must have a certain number and combination of symptoms. These symptoms must be present nearly every day for at least 2 weeks. Some criteria for diagnosis include the presence of the following: depressed mood or irritability, loss of interest or pleasure in activities, loss of appetite, significant weight loss, sleeping too much or not enough, sluggish movements, fatigue, loss of energy, feelings of worthlessness, guilt, indecisiveness, difficulty concentrating, recurrent thoughts of death or suicide, significant impairment in functioning. There are many similarities, but there are a few differences as well. So I'm going to put up a chart to help you to figure out if you are grieving or if you are depressed. If you are depressed, I highly suggest seeking out a therapist. There is absolutely no shame in seeing a therapist. It's amazing how people can be perfectly fine with gory details of an accident or surgery, but the moment you bring up mental health, everybody goes silent and no one wants to talk about it. There is no shame in seeking mental help. You are allowed to seek help, and you are not weak or cowardly for doing so. Some of the best people I know go to therapy, and I so happen to be one of them. And I will say that going to my therapist was one of the best decisions of my life. So if you need it, do it. Please know that you are not alone. We are in this together. It's scary and uncertain at the moment, but we will pull through it. I don't think everything will be exactly the same as it was before, but I know a sense of normalcy will be there at the end of this weird, strange time we're going through right now. One last thing that I ask. When this is all over, please don't forget the millions of us who won't get to go back to normal. Remember the parents that are in nursing homes. Remember the friends that are bedridden. Remember the isolated. You now know what it's like to be alone and scared. So remember those who will always be this way. Chin up, everyone. There are 8 billion of us on this planet, and together we will come through this all right in the end. You'll see. Remember to be kind. It's free, so give it out to everyone. I'll see you next time.